Hello there, everybody. Welcome to another installment of the Hometown Football League. Tonight we are going to do Dallas and San Francisco, this 14th of January 2022. Let me explain. Hello, this is Big Polly, by the way, the founder and owner of the Big Polly's World of Sports Sims YouTube channel. Let me explain what we're going to do. I was going to do two separate videos, do the Week 2 Sunday recap and do Monday Night Football, but we might as well do both while we're here, and that'll save me a little bit of time as I'm behind the eight ball today, so I apologize. So what we'll do is we'll do the recaps of the other Week 1 games other than the four that we played during the course of this week. And we're going to hit the auto button on each of these games and show you what happened. First, we're going to begin with the Saints entertaining the Eagles. Eagles were heavy favorites, but it was the Saints who go marching on with a win, 31-28 to improve to 1-1, and Philadelphia will drop to 1-1. We'll go over the box score real fast. It was Drew Brees with a good performance. He threw 3 touchdown passes, and Carson Wentz threw 4 for Philadelphia, hero of Super Bowl 52. And it looked like a very, very close and tight game. Each team was dead solid perfect in the red zone. Philadelphia gained the most yardage, 424 to the Saints 343, but the Saints out time of possession them. Is that an adverb? I don't know. 57 plays for the Saints and 58 for New England, not New England, Philadelphia. Each team had turned two turnovers. Can you tell I just had dinner? We had 10 penalties in the game. And let's look at the player stats real fast. Both quarterbacks turned in exceptional performances. Brees had the better game, 113 passing rating. He went 28 of 37, 285 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. McCoy had the best rushing game. He was with the Eagles, 15 of 71. Thomas of the Saints had 10 catches, 162 yards. He led both teams. And defensively, I like to look at the tackles because I think that tells you a lot about the game. Waymer of the Saints, 11 tackles. Had 4 players. Douglas, Vincent, Vaughn, and Dawkins each have 7 for the Eagles. So the Eagles can't hide their crying eyes. They lose 31-28. So we move on to New England and Cincinnati. The winner here was New England, 22-16. And with that score, did they go overtime? Yes, they did. It was Drew Bledsoe throwing a 14-yarder to Randy Moss for the win. Bledsoe took MVP honors. Another close game. Each team with 4 trips to the red zone. Didn't score on all their trips. This went deep into overtime as it looks like there was 73-03. So they went 13 minutes and 3 seconds into overtime. We have yet to have a tie in HTFL play, Season 1 or Season 2. New England ran 71 plays. Cincinnati ran 74 plays, and there were 12 penalties in the game. We'll look at the player stats. It was Ken Anderson who had the better day, 32 of 49, 324, and a touchdown. Leading rusher was Sam Cunningham, 15 carries, 89 yards. We had A.J. Green with 10 catches and a $126 to lead catches and receiving yards for either team. And we'll look at the defensive stats. Vontez Perfect of the Bengals had 14 tackles. So again, it was New England 22 and Cincinnati 16. I do believe we're going to feature Cincinnati next week. Our first game next week, by the way, will be Buffalo and Baltimore. Kansas City and Buffalo. Speaking of Buffalo, a couple of AFL rivals. And it's Kansas City prevailing in a shootout, 41-31. And we'll go back and look at the scoring summary. Montana was red hot. He threw 4 touchdowns. in the game, and wisely he was chosen as MVP. Another close game in terms of yardage, 383, 353 Kansas City. Kansas City perfect in the red zone, 4 trips, 4 touchdowns. 15 penalties in the game. Kansas City ran 59 plays and Buffalo ran 55. And one stat that's really glaring at me is Kansas City 25-18 in first downs. And Buffalo committed 9 very costly penalties for a buck 22. So Montana, 27 of 36, 306 yards, 4 TDs, and a 137 rating. Leading rusher was O.J. Simpson, 12 for 79 for Buffalo. Leading pass catcher was Bo for Kansas City, 10 for 112. Terrell Owens had a 5 catch game for 100 yards. Get your popcorn. And the leading tackler was Darryl Talley with 9 for Buffalo. Terrell Owens recently was talking about getting with the Buccaneers once Antonio Brown left. And that's still a sore subject with me. So Kansas City 41, Buffalo 31. Kansas City moves to 2-0. Buffalo is 1-1 in the Eastern Division. Detroit and Atlanta are fourth stop. The winner here was Detroit, 29-17. And we'll go back and look and see who took the MVP honors. Game being played at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. Johnson took the MVP honors. And it was close. It was 24-17. Murray kicked a field goal, and Bubba Baker got a safety to extend the lead 5 more points out. So 29-17 was your final. Bobby Lane was your quarterback for Detroit. And we'll take a look at the team stats real fast. Again, another very close game in terms of yardage. Atlanta actually outgained Detroit by 2, 401-399. Detroit just a tad better in the red zone, 2 touchdowns and a field goal as compared to Atlanta getting a touchdown and a field goal. Atlanta actually had the time of possession edge. We had 5 penalties in the game, 54 plays for Detroit, 59 for Atlanta. First downs were dead even at 20-20. Atlanta committing 2 turnovers to Detroit's 1. Look at the player stats of this game. Bobby Lane was 17 for 33, 279 yards, and he outdueled Matt Ryan, Matty Ice, who went 20 of 38 for 327. He had the better passing rating, Lane did. In terms of yardage, Eric Dickerson, who was with Atlanta because he once played for Atlanta and they had a superior position in the draft, he went 14 for 48. Jones for Detroit had a 7 carry for 47 game. We look at the receiving yardage. Julio Jones was a standout in the HTFL last year for Atlanta. 10 catches, 184 yards to lead everybody in both departments. And we will look at the tackles. Yale Larry led everybody with 11 for Detroit. Detroit prevailing 29-17. They go to 2-0 on the year, while Atlanta drops to 0-2 in that South Division that should have a lot of parity outside of maybe Dallas and Miami. In our 5th game, San Diego travels to Washington. And Washington smokes them 32-9. Davis was the MVP. He had 2 touchdowns, a 9-yard run and a 4-yard run. A lot of missed extra points in the game. Washington missed 2. Kading hit 3 field goals, and that was all the scoring that San Diego could muster. Now, for the San Diego team, it is the Chargers, and what we use just the players from when they were in San Diego, which was 1961, because remember, in 1960 they were the Los Angeles Chargers, and from 2017 on they are the Los Angeles Chargers, who just missed the playoffs this year. Washington had 338 yards, San Diego 280. Washington dead letter perfect, 4 for 4 in the red zone. All San Diego could do was hit 3 field goals, 9 penalties in a game. San Diego committing 6 of them. They had 48 plays, while Washington had 52. Looking at the player stats, Sonny Jurgensen went 18 of 24, 211 yards, and a rate of 129. Leading rusher, we only had a tie. We had Stephen Davis, 17 to 79, but LaDainian Tomlinson hit 79 yards on 14 carries. Leading pass catcher was Art Monk, 8 for 114, and so he also took the yardage honors. And looking at the leading tacklers, we had Bird of San Diego with 8. So again, your final on that, 32-9, Washington over San Diego. Washington now 2-0. San Diego has fallen to 0-2. We featured them back on the very first game of HTFL Season 2, and they lost to San Francisco. San Francisco, the defending champions. Baltimore and Cleveland is our next stop. And it's Cleveland prevailing over Baltimore, 17-3, in what must have been a smash-mouth game. MVP for this was Otto Graham, who threw 2 touchdowns in the second half to bust open a 3-3 tie. He threw a pass to Max Beatty and one to Bobby Mitchell. Team stats: Cleveland outgained Baltimore 331 to 257. They were perfect in the red zone, although they kicked a field goal. Cleveland was. Baltimore, 1 trip into the red zone, and they got a field goal out of that. 6 penalties in the game. Baltimore, 55 plays. Cleveland with 60, and they out first downed Baltimore 20 to 15. Player stats now. Curious to see how Jim Brown did. It was Otto Graham, 19 of 37 for 244, a 90.4 rate. Jamal Lewis actually outgained Jim Brown. Jamal 14 for 103. Brown 12 for 57. We had 3 guys make 5 catches. And it was McCauley for Baltimore, Brown and Winslow for Cleveland. And Winslow had the best passing yardage effort, receiving yards, I should say, 5 for 64. Just looked like a real tough game. Ray Lewis with 10 tackles, and we had 4 guys with 4 for Cleveland. So Cleveland rocks. They win 17-3. Earlier in the week, you saw New Orleans beat Seattle 33-28. Green Bay beating Pittsburgh 17-13. So we'll go past those games and go to Carolina and Chicago as we look at the second half of the docket. Chicago prevailing 34-14. In this one, Sid Luckman was the MVP. And Chicago got out to a 31-0 lead by 8:42 left in the third quarter. And Carolina cut the gap with a couple of consolation touchdowns. Chicago 430 yards of total offense to Carolina's 332. They were 5 out of 6 in the red zone, 4 touchdowns and a field goal, 5 penalties in the game. 61 plays for Carolina, 51 for Chicago. They actually time possessioned them 30-02 to 29-58. So it looked like Carolina missed some opportunities to keep this game close. Sid Luckman, what an effort here. 18 of 22 for a 158.3 rating, which is a perfect rating when you do the passing ratings in the NFL. Walter Payton, Sweetness with a big game, 22 carries, 117 yards. Graham, 8 catches for 139, and Hill, 6 for 103. So the Bears had 2 receivers go over 100 yards, which is not like them. Defensively, Kuechly of Carolina with 10 tackles, Urlacher with 9. And that's how the cookie crumbled there. Chicago 34-14 over Carolina. Chicago to 1-1. Carolina falling to 0-2. Our next stop, Jacksonville and Minnesota. And the Vikings prevail 37-10 at the Dome Stadium in Minneapolis, TCF Bank Stadium. I take that back. TCF Bank Stadium was where they were playing when they were waiting for the dome to get done, but that's fine. Minnesota jumped out to a 24-0 lead. Jacksonville cut it to 24-10, and then Minnesota got the last 13 points. We'll keep TCF Bank Stadium there for Minnesota. Let them play in the outdoors. Minnesota with a huge margin in total yardage, 450 to 238. Perfect in the red zone, 4 touchdowns, 2 field goals, 6 trips. They had the ball 36-56, and Jacksonville only 23-04. Penalties, there were 8 of them, 54 plays for Jacksonville, 66 for Minnesota, and with the stats that I was mentioning, it's not surprising that they dominated on first downs, 27-12. Tarkenton, 20 of 33, 300 yards, and a rating of 108.1. Peterson, Adrian Peterson, 31 carries, 137 yards. We had 3 guys with 6, Miller for Jacksonville, Chris Carter, and Jordan for Minnesota. Chris Carter was the standout, 6 for 145. And Brackens, Smith, each with 8 tackles for Jacksonville. But it's Minnesota that prevails, 37-10. They go to 2-0. Jacksonville falls to 1-1. Indianapolis and Tennessee. As the stops dwindle down, it was Indianapolis prevailing, 27-13. Look at the stats. Indianapolis got the first 4 scores to go up 20-0, and they did not look back. Tennessee cut it to 20-13. With 3 successive scores, Baronis, Johnson, and Baronis again. But Luck with a pass to Reggie Wayne put the game away, 27-13 Colts. They gained 319 yards and they were perfect in the red zone, 2 touchdowns on 2 trips. Tennessee, 256, 1 touchdown, 2 field goals. Only 3 penalties in the game, 61 plays for the Colts, and 61 plays for Tennessee. Luck was the standout, 13 of 26, 146 yards. Andrew Luck, not Oliver Luck. That was an older era. Johnson, 18 carries, 117 yards. Mason, 7 catches for 34 yards, but the yardage leader was Reggie Wayne with 63. He had a 39-yard catch to make up the bulk of his yards. And defensively, Bullock of Tennessee, 9 tackles. But the Colts win 27-13. They go to 1-1 in the Northern Division of the HTFL. Tennessee is now 0-2. Earlier in the week, Denver over Houston, 34-17. And then yesterday we did the Las Vegas-St. Louis game, 13-10, in favor of the Ironmen. Here was a big game that we didn't get because we had Tampa Bay and Los Angeles profiled last week, which was actually 3 months or so ago. Could Tampa Bay keep the momentum going? Yes, they do, 29-25. So Tom Brady has given the Buccaneers a little life in a back-and-forth contest. Tampa Bay at one point led 19-7. Goff got them back to within 5 points, and then both teams traded field goal. Goff threw to Fears, and LA took the lead, but with 41 seconds left, Tom Brady threw a 61-yarder to Mark Carrier. He was the MVP, Brady was, and the Buccaneers shocked the Rams with 583 yards of total offense, 29-25. They were 5 out of 7 in the red zone. The Rams 3 touchdowns and a field goal on 4 trips. Tampa Bay held the ball 39 minutes and 21 seconds. They ran 65 plays to LA's 55. LA only ran the ball 6 times. 10 penalties in the game. The Bucs committing 7 of them. Brady, 21 of 30, 432 yards and a rating of 120.8. Warwick Dunn was unstoppable. 26 carries, 146 yards. Henry Ellard for LA, 8 for 117. But Mark Carrier went out of control. 7 catches, 203 yards, including a 61-yarder to win it. Gronk was also very good, 7 for a $1.18. So how about those Buccaneers? And Irwin and McDaniel led the way on tackles with 8 each for the Rams, which are a combination of the Rams, the Raiders, and the Chargers when they played in L.A. Might see some L.A. Dons on the roster for Los Angeles. They're included too, the LA Dons of the AAFC. Final stop before we begin our Dallas-San Francisco game is Miami and Arizona. Each team coming in 1-0, and Miami prevails 31-24 over the improved Cardinals of Arizona. A back-and-forth game, but Landry ran one in from 47 yards, about 5 minutes into the fourth quarter, and that proved to be the difference. 31-24. Total yardage, 424 for Miami, 330 for Arizona. Miami 3 touchdowns and a field goal on 5 trips to the red zone. Arizona 2-1 in their 5 trips, 2 touchdowns and a field goal, 9 penalties. 62 total plays for Miami and 59 for Arizona. Miami just outgaining Arizona in terms of time of possession, but on first downs they dominated 28-16. Warner led the way in terms of passing, 21 of 36 for 293, 3 touchdowns. He was sacked twice, though. Zonka had a big game rushing the ball, 18 carries, 140 yards. Landry was in for 1 carry, and he picked up those 47 yards, and that was the decider. Anquan Boldin, 6 for 92. But Larry Fitzgerald, let's go. I listened to that podcast, Let's Go, which has Tom Brady and Larry Fitzgerald on it with Jim Gray. Fitzgerald, 5 catches for a $1.09. Leading tackler was Zach Thomas with 9. MVP of the game was Larry Zonka, 31-24. Miami over Arizona. So now you know what happened in the other games in the HTFL. We're going to hit the play button, and we are going to play out Dallas and San Francisco. I always shave 10 degrees off the temperature, the randomly drawn temperature, on the Monday night game. So 79 is going to turn into 69. And we're going to play at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara. Hope you enjoyed the recap. And computers are going to set the rosters, and off we go. Raining in San Francisco, a very slight wind. And it's going to be Roger Staubach facing Steve Young in this one. And we'll go through the lineups in just a moment. I will control San Francisco. The Gold Raiders against the Cowboys. And I'm going to defer. Well, I can't defer because Dallas won the toss and deferred. So we'll take the ball. Woodson, Washington, Robertson back deep for the Gold Raiders on this soggy Monday night. And it's Washington. A decent return out to the 29 from the 8. A gain of 21 yards. So let's set the San Francisco offense for you. Gore and McElhenney will be the 2 running backs. Wilson and Parks are your wideouts. Kittle is at tight end. Young is the quarterback out of BYU and the LA Express and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Shell, Upshaw, Otto, Cross, St. Clair leading a motley offensive line for the Gold Raiders, a combination of the 49ers and the Raiders. We'll go Gore inside on 1st and 10. And that is a gain of 6 yards, which the crowd approves of. Your Dallas defensive lineup is Jones, Martin, White, and Bob Lilly. Those are your front four. Chuck Holloway leads the linebacker core. Hedrick and Ware, your linebackers. Emerson Walls, Ray Renfro, Woodson, and Green are your defensive backs. You got 4 10s in the defensive lineup for the Cowboys. By the way, the Cowboys will probably have a few Dallas Texans on there because that's what we do in the hometown football league. So, we're going to go medium cross to Cliff Branch on 2nd and 4. See if we can pick up some yards, and we do. A gain of 14. A tackle by Smith, who comes in as a defensive back in the nickel package. He is an 8. So it will be to San Francisco's advantage to perhaps go to these 3 wide, 4 wide formations. George Kittle on a short cross. He's got it. That's a gain of 9. Let's focus in on Kittle. Kittle, perhaps a recent addition to the San Francisco lineup. He's playing on the 49ers right now. Of course, San Francisco and Dallas are going to meet this weekend in the first round of the playoffs, the 14-team NFL playoffs. 14 out of 32 make it nowadays. Pitch right to Gore on 2nd and a yard. And he gets back to the line, and that is it. Well, 3rd and 1, we're going to go play action. We're going to go to Wilson on a play action pass, which is going to be just what the doctor ordered here, as Dallas playing a 4-4. Complete to Wilson, a gain of 17 yards, and that is a first down at the 25. We'll go McElhenney on a screen, star of the 50s San Francisco teams. And McElhenney with a 14-yard gain down to the 11. Howley makes the tackle for Dallas. We mentioned this in Season 1, and it's a very good trivia question if you ever want to use it. Who was the only Super Bowl MVP not to come from a winning team? And the answer would be Chuck Howley. He was on the Super Bowl V Dallas Cowboy team that lost by a field goal to
encroachment defense. Number 74, 5-yard penalty.
We're going to take the 7-yard gain. Super Bowl V, Dallas lost to the Baltimore Colts on a field goal. The then Baltimore Colts. And I believe the uncertainty of the game had, where Jim O'Brien kicking a field goal in the last second, probably had a lot to do with why the losing team went up with the MVP. Gore will get it on 2nd and 3. He's in the end zone. A touchdown for the Gold Raiders. And they are moving right along. And they take a 6-0 lead. Extra point to come. And it's good. Sebastian Janikowski just puts that through. He's going to be a very good kicker on the San Francisco franchise, and was last year. So it's 7-0 Dallas with the ball now. Marsh, Renfro, and Ishmael, Quadri Ishmael, back deep. And Marsh is going to take it out, even though he was a yard or two in the end zone, 2 yards deep. Returned it to the 25 before Jim Otto got to him, so it was a return of 27. So let's set up the Dallas offense. Ezekiel Elliott and Walt Garrison are your running backs. Irwin and Burford from the Dallas Texans are your wideouts. Jason Witten is the tight end. Las Vegas could have gotten Jason Witten, but they chose not to. Wright, Allen, Frederick, Newton, and Smith are your linebackers. Not your linebackers, but your offensive line. And Roger Staubach is your quarterback out of Navy. 1st and 10, the ball at the 25. And immediately, there's trouble.
Defense. Number 52, 15-yard penalty. Automatic.
Staubach got sacked for a 9-yard loss, but it's going to be a first down because Khalil Mack got a little rowdy in his celebrations, and it adds 15 yards on. On YouTube, there is tape of Staubach's 1964 game, Army-Navy game. A 6-yard gain for Elliott, Stubblefield on the tackle. What's odd about that game was the score, 11-8. Was the score. Both teams scoring touchdowns, both teams going for 2-point conversions and getting them. And it was Army getting a field goal in the fourth quarter, and you see Staubach trying to get a rally going, but he couldn't. And I believe that was his last college football game. And Army beat Navy in what was an upset, 11-8. Second and 4, ball to 46.
False start. Offense. Number 61, 5-yard penalty.
Lindsey Nelson called that one, the man with the unique jacket collection. Second and 9, ball to 41. Interesting choice of haberdashery. A gain of 13, and that was Staubach to Irvin. Matt deflected it, but Irvin got some mitts on it anyway. First and 10 at the 46. We have 8:31 left in the opening quarter with no score. Here's your first and 10 play. And Starbuck just matriculating the ball down the field. That's a gain of 11 for Jason Witten. Ronnie Lott on the tackle. I did not give you earlier the San Francisco defense. I should. Haley and Hardman, Nomalini, and Stubblefield, that's your front four. Mack, Willis, Wilcox are your linebackers. Willie Brown, Jimmy Johnson, not that Jimmy Johnson, but another one. Ronnie Lott and Grayson are your defensive backs. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 10s. 10s are better because Haley is a 10-plus defensive end in the lineup on the San Francisco Gold Raider defense. First and 10 at the 35. And Staubach is sacked by Hardman. That's a loss of 6, setting up second and 16 at the 41. Staubach looking to throw. He does to Jason Witten. They get 10 yards back. Lott on the tackle for San Francisco. And that's going to set up a third and 6 as I nearly cough. The ball at the 31. That was deflected off of Willis, but incomplete. So they will bring the field goal unit on for a 48-yard field goal attempt. It's up, and it's right down the middle. Bailey with the kick for Dallas, and your score now 7-3 with 5:27 left in the opening quarter. So back to San Francisco we go. They were almost perfect on that last drive, going in for a touch. And they will get it at the 20 after that ball was kicked to Sacramento. Trap right, Frank Gore, first and 10. And that's a gain of 3 yards. Bob Lilly making the tackle for Dallas. We'll try George Kittle again on a hitch on 2nd and 7. That's incomplete. It's now 3rd and 7. We'll go medium pass. And we're going to look to Parks, who I believe is a newcomer this year. Only a gain of 5. Emerson Walls with a big-time tackle to stop the first down from being achieved. They needed 7. They got 5. It's 4th and 2. And Ray Guy is going to come on and punt for the Gold Raiders. Played for Las Vegas last year. Bad snap. And what has happened here? Way over the head of Guy. Parks got it back, recovering it at the 17, but Dallas will only have that distance, 17 yards, to get into the end zone. Huge break in the opening going for the Cowboys. A 1st and 10 from there. Staubach to throw. He throws to Ezekiel Elliott, a gain of 11. The Ohio State grad with 6 catches for 93 yards out of the backfield against Houston in Week 1. And if you're wondering where Emmett Smith is, he plays with Arizona because Arizona had the first pick in the draft, and they scooped him right up. And he played his last season with the Cardinals. A 1st and goal at the 6. And it's Staubach. He completed it to Jason Witten for a 3-yard gain. Lott again on the tackle for the Gold Raiders. A 2nd and goal at the 3. Second game of 18 for each team. 2-yard gain for Elliott. And now it's third and goal. Ball at the 1. Elliott trapped for a loss. He loses 2 yards. Willis on the tackle for the Gold Raiders. So that's going to set up a field goal, and we're going to have a 7-6 game. Yes, we will. That chip shot by Bailey. Tony Romo is your holder because he's the backup quarterback. And it's 7-6 with just 48 seconds left to go in the opening stanza. It's going to be Woodson, Washington, and Roberson again back deep for San Francisco, and that's a touchback. San Francisco with the wind, so they will have the wind in the fourth quarter, but the wind is negligible at 0 to 5 mile an hour. We're going to go McElhenney on a trap right. And that is for a gain of just 1 yard. San Francisco will go 3 wide, and they're going to look to Cliff Branch on a slant. He's going to go over the middle, and he's got it, and that's a gain of 10. And that's how this first quarter is going to end. Your score, the Gold Raiders 7 and the Cowboys 6. Dallas had 48 yards of total offense, net offense, because they had 54 total. We got 6 yards rushing and 48. I guess that includes a sack. Staubach was hot, 5 out of 6 for 48 yards, and Dallas only had 3 carries, and they were all by Ezekiel Elliott. Meanwhile, for San Francisco, they ran the ball 7 times, and they threw the ball 7 times. Young is 6 for 7, 69 yards, but in total, San Francisco only had 10 yards on 7 carries, thanks to that mangled punt. So a 1st and 10 at the 31. We're going to go McElhenney in a double tight end set off tackle to the left side. And the power of the San Francisco offensive line should be in evidence, and that's a gain of 2 yards. White on the tackle, Randy White for the Cowboys. 2nd and 8 at the 33. Short out to Billy Wilson. And he caught it. First it hit him square on the hand, and it squirted loose like a baby with baby oil. But Wilson did make the catch after all, and it was 1st and 10 at the 42. He got a handle on it. Trap right, Frank Gore on 1st and 10 from their own 42, and Gore will get into Dallas territory at the 48. That's a 1st down against San Diego. Way back in September when we did our opening game, he had 20 carries for 109 yards, and that's a 1st down. We're going to go play action, medium pass, and we're going to look to Parks. Throw is complete to Wilson, a gain of 5. So Young, red hot to start off this game, 8 out of 9 for 83 yards. By the way, if you're wondering who Parks is, it's Dave Parks out of Texas Tech. Tight end, wide receiver. He could play either position. 2nd and 5, which means he was probably just an end back in the late 60s in the NFL. Gore, pitch right on 2nd and 5. And Gore, no gain. It was Bob Lilly forcing him out of bounds. And that's going to set up 3rd and 5. And they're going to go 4 wide. San Francisco is, and they're going to look for Freddie Bolitnikoff on a medium cross. Man is in motion. That's 84. Your throw incomplete as Bolitnikoff was well covered, and the pass is incomplete. A 4th and 5 from the 43 coming up with 11-12 left to go till halftime. Ray Guy in. He's going to try that soft shoe coffin corner punt, and it's a good one. Out of bounds at the 6. Punt went 37 yards, but it's got the Cowboys pinned deep in their own territory. 11:09 to go in the half, and it's 7-6 in favor of San Francisco. Let's see what the Cowboys do on 1st down. The throw complete to Witten. Witten picks up 16 big yards. Last week, Roger Staubach had a big game, 27 for 39 for 337 yards. So it's first and 10. The ball at the 22 now. Dallas made a little headway there. Here's Elliott. He's going to get a first down. And we have an injury to Jimmy Johnson of San Francisco, but he will be okay. The injury being undisclosed by the 49ers staff. And it's first and 10 at the 35. Well, they don't have to tell us. Screen pass. This is going to Garrison, but he dropped it. So the only thing changes is the down, which is number 2 for Dallas. Ball at the 35. They're 65 yards still away from a touchdown. And Staubach throwing. It's intercepted. And this is a pick six. Grayson with his first pick of the year, and it's a big one, 50 yards. And San Francisco extends the lead to 13-6. Your point after try by Janikowski, it is good. And San Francisco up 8, 14-6, with 9:03 left to go in the opening half. 9:03 left in quarter number 2. So it's Marsh, Renfro, Ishmael again back deep. I think the Renfro, I said it was Ray Renfro, it's Mel Renfro, I'm pretty
Holding,
sure.
receiving team.
And things go from bad to worse for Dallas as Liscio was called for holding, and that's going to set up a first and 10 for Dallas at their own 8. So again, they're pinned deep in their own territory. Got out of trouble the first time. That was a pass in the flat that nobody got to, which falls incomplete. That sets up second and 10 at the 8. See what Staubach does here, and that's a give to Garrison, Walt Garrison, who had an interesting hobby of being in the rodeo. That's a gain of 5. Third and 5 to 13. I think he rode some horses, was doing some bronco busting. So a 3rd and 5 play now for Dallas. The throw, incomplete with a penalty.
Pass interference, defense. Number 42, automatic, first down.
When you see a penalty come up in that part of the play, you know it's pass interference. They get Ronnie a lot for that, and it's first and 10 at the 21. 7:50 now left in the half. Roger, the Dodger, throws a gain of 5 to Garrison, and it's 2nd and 5 at the 26, moving right along. This time Garrison runs the ball. Hardman makes the tackle, and that's a 1-yard gain. 3rd and 4. Ball at the 27. And Staubach drops back. He's sacked. Dana Stubblefield on that tackle, setting up a 4th and 16. Obviously, Dallas will punt here. Oops, as I banged the table. And a nice return by Taylor, John Taylor, a return of 14 yards. The punt went 48, so the net was 34, which works to San Francisco's advantage because they have excellent field position at the Dallas 49. 5:35 now left to go in quarter number 2. It's 14-6, and now San Francisco is looking for more, I would think. Medium cross to Dave Parks. It's Young scrambling. It's a gain of 2. And Steve Young was one of those quarterbacks who could run when called upon to do so. Of course, he had that great run in a game against Minnesota in the late 80s, which was famous for Lon Simmons' call of it, that you could probably look up on YouTube. A touchdown run of some 60-plus yards. It was one of the greatest runs you will ever see by a quarterback. Frank Gore, trap right on 2nd and 8 from the 47 as the rain continues to fall lightly here at Levi's Stadium. He gained 2 yards on that to Marcus Ware on the tackle for Dallas, and that sets up a 3rd and 6. They'll go 3 wide, and they're going to look to Cliff Branch on a short cross. Young scrambles. He's got the first down. He's past the 30, past the 20. And speak of the devil, we were talking about that touchdown run he had against Minnesota back in the 80s, and he puts off a spectacular run, 42 yards to the Dallas 3-yard line. So now 4:03 left to go, and it is Frank Gore who's going to go off tackle left. We think for a touchdown. Yes, touchdown, Gold Raiders, and they extend the lead a little more. It's 20-6. Janikowski for the point after. It's good, and it's 21-6 with 3:22. So San Francisco being dominating, not dominated, taking advantage of opportunities, and they kick off. Oh, the kick's going to go out of bounds.
Kicking team.
Joe Nedney is the kickoff specialist for San Francisco, and when you have 100 players on your roster, you're going to have one guy kicking extra points. You're going to have one guy kicking field goals potentially, although not in San Francisco's case, and you're going to have one guy one guy doing kickoffs, one guy doing field goals, one guy doing extra points. It's possible. So Dallas at the 40 with 3:22 to go, so they double their field position that they would have had if it was a touchback. That's a nice pass to Michael Irvin. Gain of 22. Willie Brown on the tackle for San Francisco. Is anybody going to beat San Francisco this year? It's going to be tough. We did have them lose a game in Season 1 to the St. Louis Maroons, but that was back when they had Kurt Warner. First and 10 at the 38. Wouldn't be surprised if they won it all again. They're just a very stacked team. When you consider what San Francisco has done and what Oakland has done, and Garrison with no gain, we're not going to call a timeout. 2:44, the clock will run. Ball at the 38 of San Francisco, and that's Elliott gaining 2 yards. Elliott now up to 5 carries and 21 yards. Unless we have an update. Dez Bryant is going to come in the game as a third wide receiver. So you got an 88, an 88, and an 88 in. Irwin, Burford, and Bryant. Third, and it sounds like a law firm. 3rd and 8. Screen, and that's incomplete. So they'll bring on Bailey, and he will try a field goal from 53. And it is good. Bailey has gone 3 for 3 on the day on the field goals. And Bailey was known for hitting long ones. Is known for hitting long ones. San Francisco with 3 touchdowns. Dallas with 3 field goals. It's 21-9. This should get us to the 2-minute warning, the kickoff, but it won't, as the ball will be down 5 yards deep in the end zone. But we're going to go for some more points. We're going to press. Slant to Cliff Branch on 1st and 10 from the 20. And Young going back to throw. Intercepted.
Holding offense. Number 79, 10-yard penalty.
Emerson Walls on the interception. St. Clair called for holding. That will make the turnover stand. And now Dallas has the ball in good field position. 1:52. We reached the 2-minute warning on that. So 1st and 10 at the San Francisco 39. Can Dallas get back in the game? Staba throwing and completing. That's Dez Bryant with a 17-yard gain. A 1st and 10 now for Dallas at the 22. Another throw to the sidelines, incomplete. That was Chris Burford, the intended receiver there. And it's now 2nd and 10 at the 22. $1:32 on the clock. The throw caught, a touchdown to Ezekiel Elliott. They sent Elliott out long, and it pays off for the Cowboys, who cut it to 6 points at 21-15 with Bailey trying the extra point, which is successful. Gold Raiders 21 and the Cowboys now at 16. So San Francisco will get the ball back. It's a touch. San Francisco with all 3 timeouts. Dallas still has 2 of theirs. And stubbornly, San Francisco is going to try to go downfield. Medium fly to Branch. Dallas gets the ball to start the second half, so it's kind of imperative they try something. And they get a 14-yard gain with $1:12 to go, and they will burn their first timeout. We're going to look to Wilson on a medium hitch. 1st and 10 at the 34. They keep trying the middle of the field, which is not a bad strategy when you got 2 timeouts left. That was incomplete. We'll go Gore on a screen, 2nd and 10. And he completes the pass. Gore will have the first down with 49 seconds left, and San Francisco will burn their second of 3 timeouts. Each team with 1 challenge left. All scores and all turnovers are looked at by the replay booth, but anything else can be challenged, so that's why each team has 1 challenge and not 2 per the NFL rules. A 1st and 10 at the 44 now. San Francisco probably have to go to the sidelines. They do. It's complete to Cliff Branch. He gains 8 yards, gets out of bounds with 45 seconds to go. And now we're going to go Kittle, medium out, on 2nd and 2. Incomplete. 41 seconds left. We're going to send Young on a quarterback draw. And he gets the first down. He's at the 40, a gain of 9. They'll go no huddle. And they're going to go short out to Cliff Branch with 27 seconds left, which will be a lot less time. Kittle gets out of bounds, gain of 6. How much time left? 9 seconds. Okay, 2nd and 4. We're going to go quick pass. I'm sorry, not a quick pass. Short quick to Parks. Because we have that 1 timeout left. It's complete. And how much time's left? 3 seconds. And that's enough time to call a timeout. They're at the Dallas 28. They're going to bring Janikowski in. And I'm going to check to see if I have the right holder in. That's not how I do it. Hang on, folks. Janikowski's about 50-50 to hit this. So if I have in... My long snapper is blue. And yes, he can long snap. So, Janikowski... Yes, I'm sure, from 45 yards on a muddy field is good. And we're at 24-16 at the half. So hello, everybody. I'm going to check my phone for something real quick. Hang on, folks. A very entertaining first half. It looked like San Francisco was going to run away with it, but they did not. Dallas came back with that Young interception, but Janikowski just hits the field goal, so we're at 24-16 going in to quarter number 3. It's going to be a very interesting second half, I think, with Dallas getting the ball to start it. Again, it's Marsh, Renfro, and Ishmael back deep. Dallas now at 139 yards, San Francisco 205. San Francisco's run 33 plays, 1 turnover. Dallas at 24, they also had a turnover. Each quarterback's thrown an interception. So here's your kickoff to start the second half. Marsh to the 26 after a 22-yard return. Davis making the stop for San Francisco. A 1st and 10 at the 26. Maybe next year I should call him San Francisco Oakland. Irvin over the middle. Irvin gaining 11 yards. Willie Brown on the tackle for the Gold Raiders. A 1st and 10 now at the 37. Never count Roger Staubach out of a game. Incomplete. And that's going to set up 2nd and 10. Another thing you can find on YouTube is Roger Staubach's last regular season game, where he engineered a comeback against the Washington Redskins in the last couple of minutes of that. You can find that on YouTube. 1979, December 16, 1979. How do I remember that date? Because that was the date the Bucs made the playoffs for the first time. 3rd and 7 at the 40. Incomplete. And fate wasn't so kind to Roger the next time he took the field 2 weeks later, because they lost to the Rams and got eliminated from the playoffs. And Roger Staubach retired after that. 4th and 7. Here's your punt. And we're going to fair catch it. And it's fair caught at the 16-yard line. So San Francisco gets possession, 1st and 10. We're gonna run the ball here within our own 20. Gore off tackle right, gain of 2 yards. And we're gonna go McElhenney on a screen on 2nd and 8. And Young just kind of led McElhenney a little too much there. It's 3rd and 8. We're gonna go Branch, medium crossing route. He's got it. He's wide open. But it looks like he might have slipped on the wet turf. And Smith got to him. Gain of 24 yards nonetheless. 1st and 10 at the 42. Gore, off tackle right side. Coverage is unknown, so we're just going to stick with the run. Gore did not gain much. No gain, in fact. Howley on the tackle for Dallas. We told you his story earlier. We're going to go Parks. Medium fly on 2nd and 10 from the 42. Instead, it's dumped to Gore. Gore with 8 yards. Young, 15 for 21 for $158. And it's play action time. And we're going to go to Wilson on 3rd and 2 from midfield. He's got it. A gain of 8. Move the chains. It's a 1st down now for the Gold Raiders at the Dallas 42. Yes, I'm checking something on my phone. Medium cross to George Kittle on 1st and 10. Incomplete by George. So we'll go to Gore. Gore's had 11 carries. We'll give him number 12 here. Trap right.
False start. Offense. Number 51, 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
Cross with the false start, backing San Francisco up 5. We'll make it a screen to Gore then. 2nd and 15. That's incomplete. Dallas figuring out what they do when they screen the ball. 3rd and 15. We're going to need a medium pass. And we're going to go to Branch for it. Ball to 47. Branch short of the 1st down. They needed 15. They got 13. 4th and 2 and the ball at the 34. Janikowski will be kicking into the wind if we go to him, but we're not going to go to him. We're going to go 4 wide, put Young in the gun, and we're going to go short pass to Wilson. Hey, Mr. Wilson. Incomplete. So a turnover on downs. Dallas gets the ball at the 34. 7:54 left, quarter number 3. It's a 24-16 game still. San Francisco get a little greedy, perhaps. So Staubach, a touchdown and a 2 away from tying the game. There's a long throw deflected by Willie Brown, and that is incomplete. Staubach is 11 out of 20, 141 yards. Young, 17 of 26 for $179. 2nd and 10. The ball resting at the 34-yard line. Little bit of sogginess. Witten with a big gain. Past the 30, past the 20, past the 10, and in. Touchdown, Dallas. Jason Witten wide open. That play went for 66 yards. Dallas will kick for the extra point and not try to 2 to tie it. And it might be too soon to do that if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan. They get the extra point, and it is 24-23 with 7:22 left in the 3rd quarter. Okay. Here's the kickoff. That's going to go out of bounds.
Kicking team.
So Dan Bailey can't keep it between the sidelines, and San Francisco starts at their own 40. Their lead is now just 1 point at 24-23. And they're going to go back to basics, it looks like. A trap right for Frank Gore. And Gore gaining 2 yards. Setting up a 2nd and 8. We'll go Kittle, medium slant. Instead, it's thrown underneath the Gore, a gain of 3. 3rd and 5. They'll stay in the 3 wide formation. Cliff Branch on a short cross. So he'll have to go over the middle. That's incomplete. So Young is now 18 of 28. 4th and 5, you got to kick here. You got to punt. And they'll bring in Ray Guy. And that's a fair catch by Martin at the 10. So any score will give Dallas the lead. It's 24-23 with 5:45 left to go. Here's Staubach on 1st and 10. Give is to Elliott. Elliott trying the left side, and he gains 14 big yards. Willis on the tackle for the Gold Raiders. 1st and 10 at the 24. They're at 233 yards of total offense. San Francisco at 266. But they lose a yard there. Mack bringing down Elliott behind the line for a 1-yard loss. 2nd and 11. Ball resting now at the 23. On the wet turf, a 2-yard gain. Elliott gets the handoff. Stubblefield brings him down. Then 3rd and 9 from the 25 with 4:04 to go. Here's your throw. An incomplete pass. And it was dropped by Chris Burford, his 2nd drop of the day. Dallas will punt back to San Francisco. Taylor with it, 30, 40, and out to the 44. The punt itself, 45 yards. The return, 14, so the net was 31. San Francisco at their own 44. It's a 24-23 game. We're going to go McElhenney, pitch right. And McElhenney, 4-yard loss. Martin on the tackle for Dallas. 2nd and 14. So San Francisco in this possession behind the 8 ball. We'll go Dave Parks, medium hitch in a 3-wide set. Parks, did he get the first down? Oh, he is just so close. 13 yards. So it's going to be 3rd and 1 at the Dallas 47. Triple tight ends, Kittle, Casper, and Gordy Soltau. Off tackle right for Gore. And did he get the first down? He did. 3 yards. Needed a yard. So move it out to the 44 and move the chains. A 1st and 10 with 1:47 to go. Screen to McElhenney. McElhenney past the 40, past the 35. He's tackled at the 33 by DeMarcus Ware. So San Francisco moving the ball nicely. 1st and 10 at the 33. 54 seconds left to go in quarter number 3. We're going to go deep to Branch here and see if we can get something. Long slant. Take a crack at it. That's incomplete.
Encroachment. Defense. Number 74, 5-yard penalty.
Bob Lilly called for encroachment. Move him up 5. And it's going to be now a 1st and 5 at the 28-yard line. I'll tackle right, Frank Gore. And Gore with 4 more. He's now at 14 carries and 46 yards. We have reached the end of quarter number 3. Your score, Dallas 23, but San Francisco with 24. Dallas 234 yards of total offense, 207 passing the ball. Staubach's 12 of 22 for 207, a pick and 2 touchdowns. Dallas has run the ball 12 times for 45 yards. They've run 34 total plays. San Francisco has run 51 total plays, 293 yards of total offense, 1 turnover. Dallas also has a turnover. Young is 20 for 30, 206 yards. Rushing the ball, they've rushed it 21 times, 87 yards, a 4.1 clip, and 2 touchdowns. Well, 2nd and 1, and now San Francisco has that wind advantage. It's still raining at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara. Play action, medium pass to Wilson. And Dallas playing short and tight, so this could work for them. But no, Young throwing a pick by 34, who is Green, Cornell Green. And Steve Young has thrown his 2nd pick of the game. Dallas takes over at their own 38 for a 1st down. with 14:45 left to go in regulation. We had our last game go to overtime, St. Louis and Las Vegas, so perhaps this one will go the same route. It is possible still. Staubach to Irvin, a 9-yard gain. 2nd and 1 at the 47. Give to Elliott. Elliott picks up the first down for a gain of 3. Elliott on the day, 9 carries, 39 yards. But he's probably had a better performance with the pass receptions, 2 for 33. 1st and 10 at the 50. We are right on that midfield stripe and the HTFL logo. A 2-yard gain for Staubach. Willis on the tackle for San Francisco, which makes it a 2nd and 8 at the 48 with 13:09 to go. Pitch, Elliott, and I don't think he gained anything, but he didn't lose anything either. And the San Francisco crowd here at Levi's Stadium chanting, defense, defense. 3rd and 8 at the 48. See what Staubach does here. It was a
illegal motion.
like a draw
Offense.
to Walt Garrison.
Number 88, 5-yard penalty.
I'll decline the penalty. 4th and 3 and force a punt by the Cowboys. I will watch for a fake punt because here's where you would do it. Nice punt. Danny White with a coffin corner punt down to the 8. And San Francisco is now shoehorned, and they got to go 92 yards to get a touchdown. We're going to go Gore, trap right, his 15th carry coming up, and that's a gain of 2. 11:25 now left in quarter number 4. Very tight game, very worthy of this being the game of the week, the Monday night game on a Friday. 2nd and 8, the ball resting at the 10. We're going to go McElhenney here on a screen. And he's got it to the 10 to the 15 and tackled at the 19. It's a first down. Chuck Howley on the tackle for Dallas. And it's 1st and 10 at the 19. Gore trapped right in a double tight end set. San Francisco wants to pound the rock a little bit here. A gain of 5. Gore now, 16 carries and 53 yards. And it's going to be a 2nd and 5 situation. We're going to go Wilson. And we're going to go short hitch on 2nd and 5. Incomplete. Which is going to make 3rd and 5 a little dicey here. We're going to go Kittle. George Kittle on the short cross. Complete, but a marker. Let's check.
Unnecessary roughness. Defense. Number 34, 15-yard penalty, automatic.
Oh, Cornell
First down.
Green got into it with somebody. So add 15 to that gain, and it's now a 1st and 10 at the 46 with 8:53 to go. Gore off tackle right. And Dallas staying in a 4-3. And Gore with a 7-yard gain. Woodson on the tackle. Play action medium pass. We're going to look to Parks. 2nd and 3 at the 47. That's incomplete. Right through his hands. 3rd and 3. Which was the famous down and distance that San Francisco had when they scored on the catch. 1982. I think we are about to reach where we have just passed the 40th anniversary of that great play. Montana to Clark. Vin Scully on the call with Hank Stram. Not Pat Summerall and John Madden. They would call the Super Bowl the following week. Off tackle right, Gore, 3rd and 3. And Gore with a first down. Gain of 6. One of the great games in NFL history because Dallas actually, I think, moved the ball to San Francisco's territory in the waning seconds of the game, so they could have taken the lead and nobody would have remembered the catch. 1st and 10 at the 41. San Francisco wants to chew up the clock. Outside run, McElhenney. But a marker.
Encroachment, defense. Number 72, 5-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
My dad was a huge Dallas Cowboy fan in 1982, and that one broke his heart. That catch broke his heart. And Dallas was never the same again. Off tackle right, Frank Gore. I also had a math teacher in elementary school who was a huge Dallas Cowboy fan. Gain of 2, and that was by Gore. Emerson Walls on the tackle. 2nd and 3. My dad was a meat cutter for A&P in New York, but he was working when the Giants had on their coaching staff Vince Lombardi and Tom Landry, and neither of them were the head coach. It was Jim Lee Howell. Medium fly to Wilson on 2nd and 3, and he's got it. 20, 10, book it, touchdown, San Francisco. Put that up on the scoreboard. And it's 30-23. We have 6:14 left to go. Extra point by Janikowski to make it 31 is good. Okay. I love it when I get junk mail. Well, not really. And the people that send you the junk mail find another way to get you junk mail. And it's all a joke, really. So, 31-23, 6:14 left. Dallas could still tie it with a touchdown and a 2. Marsh back deep. For Dallas, it's a touchback. You got Frank Clark entering the game now. He's the one with the 82. The others have 88. Chris Burford, Michael Irvin, and Dez Bryant. See what Staubach can do. He's 13-23, 216 yards. And now he's got a little more. Gain of 8 to Chris Burford. 6:07 left. A 2nd and 2. Ball now at the 28 on this rain-slicked field. Elliott, 6 up the middle. Ronnie Lott on the tackle. 1st and 10 at the 34. Cowboys trailing by 8. Burford underneath gains 7. Tackled by Woodson. 2nd and 3 with 5:16 to go. No gain. 3rd and 3. Ball at the 41. 4:51 left to go. Incomplete. And Dallas, yes indeed, they're going to punt here. Try to play the field position game as much as they can, even though it's very, very late in this game. 55 minutes and 27 seconds into it. They will punt it away. We're going to have a safe punt return. Safe punt return. We don't want to fumble the ball here. Taylor with a 3-yard return. The punt went 40, so the net was 37. San Francisco starting at the 22-yard line with 4:25 to go. And I think they're going to run the ball a bit. Gore, trap left. No gain. And they are just going to slow this baby down. They're going to take all the time off the play clock that they can. Take 39 off of those 40 seconds and make time the enemy of Dallas. Gore, again, inside run. Random inside run. Gain of 5. Setting up 3rd and 5. And we're going to go to Garrison Hurst, who comes in with the full house backfield. And we're going to go off tackle right with him. And he's short of the first down by a yard. Dallas is not calling a timeout. So we're going to milk the clock and run it down to 2 minutes and 5 seconds. They're a yard shy of the first. We're not going to commit suicide and try for a field goal. Try for a first down here. We're going to punt it. Here's Ray Guy. Booming punt. And what a time for it. The punt went 56. It backed Martin up. He returned it 9 yards, but they committed holding on the return. So Dallas has to start with 1:57. 2-minute warning just passing. At the 8, they got to go 92 yards. Can Staubach, even Roger the Dodger, do this? 1st and 10 from the 8. We will see. The throw, incomplete, looking for Frank Clark. Dallas has all 3 timeouts left. San Francisco just using one to milk the clock on that last punt by Ray Guy. Has 2 left. 2nd and 10. That should be inconsequential. And that is Irwin in the flat. Michael Irvin. Gain of 16. First and 10 at the 24. A buck 38 to go. Staubach throwing and completing a pass to Clark. And Dallas will have to burn a timeout here, I would think, and they do. 2 left. And it's going to be 2nd and 3. Ball at the 31. Staubach looking and finding Chris Burford. A gain of 4. He got out of bounds. 1:25 now left to go. First and 10. 65 yards away from the end zone is Dallas. Here's the throw. Complete to Burford. Burford gained a little bit of yardage, but he fumbled. Big pile up for the ball. Clark picked it up for Dallas. They retain possession. And now Dallas will have to burn another timeout with 1:15. But they've now moved up to the 46. First and 10. They trail by 8. Staubach looking and throwing to Irvin, and that's incomplete. Quarterback of the 70s throwing to the wide receiver of the 90s, but they can't hook up on that possession. 2nd and 10 at the 46. Staubach over the middle for Irvin, and he's got it. A gain of 16 yards. Irvin with a season high of 87 yards. I'm not going to call a timeout. And Dallas calls their last, which could come in very consequentially here with 53 seconds to go. Now the ball's at the San Francisco 38, so Staubach with a John Elway-like drive, if he can finish it. Incomplete, looking for Dez Bryant. Good coverage by Ronnie Lott. 2nd and 10 with 50 seconds left to go. Dallas is out of timeouts, and the Raiders have 2, but that shouldn't be of any consequence. Here's your throw. Complete to Clark, and he got out of bounds. Gain of 11. The ball at the 27 now of San Francisco. First and 10. 40 seconds left to go. Staubach throws. Completed. That was to Irvin. And Staubach now eclipses the 300-yard mark. First and 10 at the 15. We have 30 seconds to go. Staubach is going to scramble. Touchdown, Dallas. 31-29. 13 seconds to go. So a lot is going to hinge on this 2-point conversion attempt. Dallas gets it. We're probably going to overtime. If they do not, the Gold Raiders are going to be the likely winners. Staubach cannot find Jason Witten in the end zone. San Francisco has held. They lead 31-29. They got to watch for an onside kick here with 13 seconds left. And it's recovered by Warren Wells at the 45. Take a knee, Steve Young. You have won this game. San Francisco sorely tested by Dallas, but the 49ers and the Raiders that make up the Gold Raiders hang on, and they win 31-29. MVP was Frank Gore. A gutsy performance by Roger Staubach. Very close game. Each team scoring on their trips to the red zone. San Francisco outgaining Dallas by 8 yards, 374-366. We had 11 penalties in the game, 55 plays for Dallas, 66 for San Francisco. And Dallas actually out first downed San Francisco 22-21. So let's go through the player stats. Staubach actually had the better game, 22 of 36, 308, a pick, and 2 touchdowns. Leading rusher was Frank Gore, 21 carries, 73 yards. The leading pass catcher was Irvin with 7. Jason Witten had the bigger game in terms of yardage, 5 for 106. And your leading tackler was 9, and that was performed by Everson Walls. So, our next game, as I come on camera, is going to be Baltimore and Buffalo this Monday, the 17th, as we kick off week number 3 in the HTFL. Hope you enjoyed week number 2. I enjoyed doing this game especially. This and the Seattle Giants game were probably the best 2 games this week. So, this has been Big Polly coming to you. I don't usually say that, but if you like this video, give it the old thumbs up there on YouTube. It'll help people find these games and spread the gospel about the HTFL. And this has been Big Polly coming to you. That's me. Godspeed and God bless. We'll do it all again soon. We got PWT and some OOTP coming at you over the weekend. Godspeed and God bless. We'll do it all again soon. Bye bye for now, everybody.